It's another review on another figurized Kamen Rider figure. Today we're taking a look at Kamen Rider X8. Now before I move on, I just want to quickly mention the CEO and Gates figurizers. I actually don't like them at all. Now I obviously already have the figure arts, and I did buy the bike set which comes with the weapons, so there was already no reason for me to pick up those two figures, like even if I just wanted the weapons from them. But those sets aren't that good because the watches are molded as a single piece onto the belt. Like the belt, I guess, can still spin. I can't remember, but yeah, it's just like a whole, like a vacuum mold thing. So there's a lot of details missing, and it kind of sucks. So the ZL and Gates one compared to say the Fies and Kabuto stuff, there's a lot of details missing. Even the build one, you can remove the bottles and twist a little build belt. And with this X8 one, you can remove the gashats from the gamer driver. And the upcoming double stuff, you can still twist and turn the body somewhat, not completely, while still having the whole gimmick of swapping the colors. So I'll definitely pick those up. Yes, I have the real bone figures for them, but I love double so much, and I just want to sort of cover the figurize of the double stuff. And then, you know, they're going to be cheap and going to be quite easy to swap them around and see how they compare to the figure arts. So I'm going to take a look at those. But anyway, back to the X8 stuff. Now, I already have X8 figure arts, and of course I have the bike and I have the gem. Not the super rare gem with the bike's accessory, but I don't really care about slightly altered colors. So, but I still picked this up because I love X8 a lot, and I might recolor him into his sort of novel version, where it's in like a white color with some black outlining, so like in the manga comic. That's kind of cool, so I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm not going to do that in this video, I'm just going to build him, and such that you see how the figure looks without any stickers or paint stuff applied to it. Starter box here shows you some of the accessories, different hands, and the weapons that he has. And on this side shows you, hey, like what looks like, you know, the pieces look like, how you have to paint it, as well as this stand that all these figurized figures come with, which I'm still glad that they do, because, you know, Bandai can easily charge money for a stand like that, but they're still included in here as sort of a little bonus. These instructions have really nice art printed on them. For most of these model kits, as well as the Star Wars one, I usually chuck away the boxes. Most of the boxes I only keep one box just to keep all the figures in there. But I do keep the instructions just because I love the artwork so much. And as always, one side's printed in black and white, one side's still printed in color, and it just looks really good. And also, as always, if you don't know Japanese, it still doesn't really matter because you can easily follow these steps. On the back there's a color guide that has some English printed on it, and you see, look, it says black, 95% pink, plus wire red and light blue small dose, so you can sort of know colors to mix to achieve these colors. But of course, X8 actually has a bit of a metallic look to him, so that's something you need to consider how to do. And oh look, it does have some English here. It says a form in which Imgur Hojo, a medical intern at a university hospital, who also has a different face as a genius gamer M, equips the gamer driver. Sets the mighty Action X Gashat transform and levels up. He fights to save patients who have been infected and have their bodies taken over by the bugs virus. His finisher is the mighty critical strike, performed by setting his rider Gashat. So pretty poor English there. Obviously all this is painted and done up, and there's two shots from the series itself, so it's kind of cool still. I wonder who else they can turn into a figurized thing. That'd be quite cool. I'm guessing like maybe Blade or some of the older rider figures that are seriously lacking with updates can do with some sort of a figurized thing. Inside here we have two sets of stickers, and yes, both of these are sticker sheets. Not sure why. This one has like a matte sort of see-through finish to it, and this one is printed on like a shiny metallic stuff that reminds me of something from the Shodo stuff. So yeah, this is kind of odd. I mean, usually come with a water slide decal and sticker, but now it's just two stickers. I don't get it. Actually, no, I'm thinking like for the black stuff, use this one. For the eyes and screen stuff, maybe use this one. Themselves, we've got these green parts there for the weapons and his boots and stuff. So it seems his foot is an entire piece, so that's going to require a lot of sticker or painting details. we have some parts that are sort of dark grey. They're not black at all and have a nice matte finish to them. But yeah, shouldn't these be like black, like deep black? But no, they're sort of like slightly shine to them, almost metallic. Of course, we have our main pink part, which has a nice shine to them as well. But there's definitely certain some bigger pieces you can notice, like the molding injection stuff on them. So yeah, you definitely want to paint these if you want these to look good. We also have one of our our pink gushat here, which is a solid color. So sorry, no transparent stuff there, but they did mold in the little details for where the printing is supposed to be. And it is molded double-sided, so I guess you could get like a white Gundam marker and just draw in the lines and then apply the stickers. And then we also have this piece there, which is just terrible. This silver mold is too light. You really need to spray this to get it properly. The transparent bits there, the green on that is really nice because the actual thing also looks like a toy as well. It's like super plasticky, so definitely no need to paint this. The white stuff is okay, but maybe a matte finish on it would make it a lot nicer. Here he is with his accessories right next to the SH FlicKr. In terms of hands, both of them have the fists attached to them. Both of them have sort of relaxed hands. He has one of his posing hands and one item holding hand, whereas the FlicKr has a pair of item holding hands as well as two flat spray open hands. But he doesn't have this posing hand though. But this hand is really not too different compared to the relaxed hand. You can see these poses are almost the same. Both of them have their sets of weapons in both hammer and sword mode. Of course, this one's not painted at all. You see it's mostly just like white and stuff. This really could have done with one or two extra pieces for people who don't paint these. And with this one, you swap away this piece and plug in the sword, whereas this one you plug and swap out the handle. Both of them do have features to slot in the gushat if you want to do that. The FlicKr has the standard FlicKr stand, which is quite useful in plugging of your accessories and chain linking this up with other FlicKr stands to do some more epic battle poses or mid-air poses. You can do that. The FlicKr does not come with a stand. It does come with this plate. If you bought the free pack like me with X8, Brave and Snipe, you get this piece. There's some holes on the top corner there, but there are no figure stands or figure arms to hold it up. If you bought the X8 sort of Heisei 20th anniversary edition, it will come with the X8 face plate thing underneath. It looks like a Zeo clock. So those two options are cool, I guess, but they are missing the figure arm, whereas this one comes with that if you need it. And if you decide to buy the FlicKr bike, you also have bike holding hands as well. Here I'm going to count the gushat as accessory as well. As you see in my FlicKr video, you will know that the gushats and FlicKr are only the handle without the actual transparent bit that sticks in. If you want FlicKr complete gushat, you need to get some from Dankoto Shin or Shin Dankoto, where you get two sort of black ones there with a transparent plastic bit on the end. And of course, actually on Tumblr, there's a person selling a bunch of FlicKr accessories and you get some gushats there as well. Whereas here on the FlicKr, you get a complete gushat. It's molded in, it's got some details on the end. It has the standard sort of gushat symbol there. It doesn't have the rider logo or anything to it. But the problem is that it's not transparent. It's made out of sort of pink color. So I mean, it's nice that the gushat's complete and all, but otherwise, One thing I really want to complain about the accessories is that there's no gushat slots down here. You can't carry more than one. The FlicKr didn't officially have that, but the gushats would slot in there just fine. So yeah, that's a huge bummer. So when comparing the two in terms of accessories, the FlicKr wins with hands. The weapons look nicer, but the FlicKr has a stand. Which you can honestly easily get many stands from many sources if you really need to. So accessory wise, the FlicKr win. Taking a closer look at these two figures, I'll say the size and scale of the FlicKr is just slightly bigger than the FlicKr. He is ever so slightly taller, and the head, for example, is slightly wider, slightly bigger, a little bit too sharp on the FlicKr. So the overall proportions, I'd say, it's actually a bit nicer on the FlicKr. One thing to note though, this entire FlicKr is mostly made out of hard plastic, including the hair bit, whereas the FlicKr uses a soft rubbery plastic, so less likely to snap, so do be careful with this one. Now with the FlicKr, I only applied the eye sticker, the chest sticker, and this big black sticker on the back. Otherwise everything else is unpainted and unstuck. And I will say this, now because this is a model kit, you're gonna have to paint it yourself. These black lines might be a huge pain to do, and fortunately if you don't want to use the stickers, which I don't recommend too much on these small areas, there are little dents and grooves in the suit to help you paint the black lines if you need to. That's nice, but it's not too accurate to the suit, whereas here it's meant to be smooth without any grooves in it and stuff, so yeah, that's gonna ruin the look of the figure just a little bit if you do that. So of course, color-wise, the figure arts win as well. If you want to make this look as good as the figure arts, you're gonna have to get yourself some metallic pink, some neon green for his arms and stuff, and silver leaf for the silver bits, and that's it. One more downside comparing the two is that the figure-wise does not have any transparent eyes. Now the glass piece on the top is the transparent piece, but the sticker underneath is the flat sticker. There's no compound eye effect. A lot of people complain about the compound eye effect of the figure arts, but hey, at least it's there, whereas on the figure eyes, it's not there at all. Now yes, obviously the figure arts is going to look a lot better out of the box compared to the figure eyes, but even excluding the figure arts, there's a few things that are just kind of annoying. With the re-release of Kabuto and Faiz, I guess just to tempt people to buy it again, some of the pieces have actually already been pre-sprayed with silver for the Faiz kit. Why can't they do that with other figure eyes? They don't cost more or cost less than each other, so it would have been nice if the silver bits on this figure were actually have a silver color to it. Now, yeah, it's not too hard to spray yourself, but for some people who have no idea how to do any painting, it would have instantly made this figure look a lot nicer if there were some bits that were pre-painted for you already. And then you would say, okay, if they pre-spray some of the parts for you, it would increase the price. Well, yeah, I would agree, but here's the thing. The overall kit is much more simpler compared to Kabuto or Faiz, has less pieces, especially compared to Kabuto with his put on and cast off mode with the armor pack. So yeah, overall the production of this figure should be way cheaper than the Faiz and Kabuto figures, but you just don't get as much here. On the upside though, I have seen this being reduced by 50 Hong Kong dollars, so that's like a quarter of the price slash, so that's kind of cool. Go to In's Point, the second floor, go to all the way to the back. There's usually a woman sitting next to like a window, and behind the window you can see all the kits, and X8 is the cheapest I've seen. They're like 145 or something. Really cheap. One last thing regarding the paint job is I want to highlight a few bits that's going to be really hard to paint, especially for people who don't paint too much. For example, all the hands underneath there's a little strap that should be painted in green, but of course it's on pink plastic, and if you just paint green on that, it's not going to work. The colors are going to clash. So you're going to have to add a little bit of white there, let it dry, and paint green on that. And hopefully you can do that. Another thing that's going to be hard to paint is that this white piece right here. This rim area should be white, but everything underneath that should be silver, so that's going to be a little bit hard to paint. Everything else, like I said, you got these groove lines, so you should be able to paint them quite easily, and some of the small details, something like these areas there, you can get away with it by using the stickers and it should be fine. Whichever sticker sheet you use, they are decent sticker sheets, so just, you know, really like after you apply it, use your thumb to just rub it in like I normally do, and it should stick fine. Not the shiny one though. For the figure here I use the matte stickers and not the shiny stuff. So let's move on to articulation. He's only got a single ball joint here, unlike the double neck joint for the figure arts, but still got a lot of movement there. It's just that his neck does look a little bit triangular and pointy in some angles and does look a little bit weird. Full rotation there as well. Shoulder pads on these little hinges, which again I'm not a fan of. Again, the figure wise does better. I'm gonna stop that now. But he does a little bit thing here better, is that he's got these shoulder joints like many figure rises, which adds a little bit of articulation there. That's nice. Figure arts doesn't not have that, but the figure arts does have a little board there to cover up the joints, and this gets quite obvious under certain angles. And yes, as you see, this piece drops off. It's quite annoying. Upper arm rotation here, single elbow joint, and fist element is a ball joint. It also has double joint there, both ball joints. It's nice. Does show off the gap a little bit there. Hip, legs go up, back quite a bit. Again, this really shows off the joints as well. And you got a rotating joint there. This joint's a bit loose for me, so I don't know about you. Double knee joint, that's nice on a model kit. and 4 like double peg swivel joints, no toe joints for figure eyes. So, but still you can do a lot of different movements. Just get him in a rider kick pose, and there you go. So in terms of X8 figures, there's the figure arts, this figure eyes, there's the rider kick one, which is slightly smaller, but I'm just gonna lump him in here. For me, the worst one will be the rider kick one. It has less paint details, no paint details whatsoever on the back of those figures. Articulation is slightly less. They feel like a slightly bigger candy toy, but even the candy toys have more features than the rider kick figures. They absolutely suck, and no compound eyes on them as well. They're also in an odd scale that's just a head shorter than figure arts. Then they're also a bit bigger than the Capsule Toy Saga figures. So what are they for? They're dumb, they're stupid. And I hate that Bandai is moving forward with this rider kick figure stuff. I hate it. Next up would be the gimmick figure. Yes, the level up gimmick figure can attach different armor pieces and stuff, but I've seen people alter the armor pieces slightly and they can fit on figure arts, and therefore they can probably fit on this figure rise as well. My problem with the gimmick line is that it's missing a lot of articulation, again doesn't have any compound eyes, so they were a downgrade from previous years' gimmick figures, which did still have compound eye effects and stuff. And some of the gimmick stuff like the level 0 and some of the bigger arm packs, they were completely pointless. They were just like, here, twist this figure and stick it in the box, because that's what the level 0 were. They're just a hollow box, just stick a figure in. Just completely pointless. So I'm not a fan of those. And the second up would be this figure eyes. It's got good articulation, it's a very fun build, and while it's missing a few features from the figure arts, it is cheaper than the figure arts, so yeah. And of course, the best one would be the figure arts. It's just a good X8 figure. And if I were to compare all of the Kamen Rider figure rises, yes, I didn't pick up the Build or Zio and Gates one, but judging from the photos, I will say this. When the Kamen Rider double figure eyes come out, they will be the best Kamen Rider figure eyes, I think, just because they have the body swap gimmicks and even have the rider kick pose. And you know, despite having the body split in two, it still has decent articulation with moving body and hips and stuff. That's really cool. You got all the parts you need right there, as well as tiny little guy memories that you can mess around with. That's excellent. Under them would be Kamen Rider Kabuto, because he has the cast off and put on armor pack. That's really cool. And he also has the proper transparent eyes and everything. And then after that would be Fires, just because of the sheer amount of different accessories and the amount of detail in his chest armor. And if you do buy two, you can paint the other one into his Exceed Charge form. That's pretty cool. And he also has his rider kick effect. And that tiny phone that he has can move and open and close. That's really awesome. But then after that will be X8. X8's a decent figure in his own right. He's got gachets, his belt actually works, and he's overall a decent figure. Under that will become rather build. He has little bottles that he can swap, and he's got the compound eyes, and the overall articulation is decent. And then right at the bottom we have X8 and Gates, which are just kind of garbage. Like, the overall figure looks okay after you built it, but the watches cannot be removed from the belt, and they even mess up the molding on the belt, where it looks like it's just a pressure mold, so the watches don't have any side details, it just sort of goes down. It's like they just enlarged the candy toy belt, and that's just ridiculous. So after all that, yes, I do think this figure is pretty decent, but how is it in its own right? Who is this for? Here's the thing, you can get this figure pretty cheap right now, almost half the price as the figure is going for currently. And I think the X8 figure's price is still going up, so eventually this will be the super duper cheap alternative compared to the figure arts. And if you have some decent painting skills, you can get this instead of the figure arts, and it will look fine. If you don't have any painting skills whatsoever, you might want to consider picking this up and then just spraying colors instead of doing any hand painting. Just get some spray cans and some clear finishes, you will still have a pretty decent looking figure. So in that sense, this is great for people who missed out on the figure arts, can't afford the crazy figure arts prices in the aftermarket, and want a cheapy X8 just to go next to their other figures. And another plus about this figure is that you can also quite easily paint him into the Gem figures, and some of the Gem level and time machine exclusives are quite expensive. So if you can't get that, I can't get that, it's way too expensive, way too silly price, then you can also consider picking this up and doing that as well. One of the plus of these model kits is that they're very easily customizable, so you can do all sorts with them if you don't want to customize or splash out on some. So there you go. As always, if you found this video interesting or useful, please consider clicking the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, you can support this channel via Patreon if you want to do that, or just turn ad block off, that would be great, or sharing this video with other people who will find this interesting. As always, take care, have a nice day, I'll see you guys next game.